My name is Alyssa Warren. I'm 29 years old, and for most of my life, I learned how to survive by becoming invisible. Invisible people become experts at silence. They learn when not to speak. They learn how to smile through humiliation, and they learn how to disappear while sitting in a room full of people. I learned all of that long before that Christmas night. That Christmas was supposed to be warm. The table glowed beneath soft lights. Candles flickered. Holiday music played somewhere in the background. The smell of cinnamon and roasted turkey filled the house. To anyone looking in from outside, we probably looked perfect. But families can look beautiful while carrying cracks no one sees. I sat quietly near the end of the table, listening while everyone circled around my older sister Charlotte. Charlotte had always been the star. Charlotte, the successful one. Charlotte, the brilliant one. Charlotte, the one everyone admired. People leaned toward her when she spoke, laughed louder at her jokes, praised every accomplishment like it was a miracle. And me? I had become background noise. Then my mother raised her glass. She smiled toward me. Not warmly. That familiar smile, the one I knew too well. "The garage is ready for you," she joked. Laughter exploded around the room. Even some of the younger cousins laughed because everyone else did. I smiled politely, because that joke wasn't new. Growing up, the garage had become a symbol. The place where old things went, forgotten things, things nobody needed. For years I had been reminded, sometimes directly, sometimes quietly, that I wasn't the one people bragged about. Charlotte was the success story. I was simply there. Years ago, those moments would have shattered me, but not anymore. Because while everyone saw silence, they missed what silence had been building. For 5 years I had worked quietly. Long nights, early mornings, ideas written on napkins and notebooks, projects nobody asked about, dreams nobody believed in. I had stopped trying to convince people I mattered. Instead, I focused on proving it to myself. Not for applause, not for revenge, for peace. Charlotte sat across from me, glowing beneath everyone's attention. Beside her sat Mr. Ellison, a respected business mentor who had helped support her company's growth. He raised his glass. "To Charlotte," he announced with a smile. "To vision, ambition, and success." Everyone cheered. Charlotte leaned back proudly, and then his phone buzzed, once, twice, then again. His smile disappeared. He looked down. His eyebrows tightened, then he stared. Charlotte noticed immediately. "Everything okay?" she asked. No answer. He kept reading. The room slowly grew quiet. Finally he looked up, confused, concerned. "Alyssa," he said slowly. "My name." For the first time all evening, the room turned toward me. I looked up calmly. "Yes," Mr. Ellison blinked. "I just received documents regarding company ownership updates and strategic restructuring." Silence. Charlotte laughed nervously. "Oh, probably some mistake." But his expression didn't change, because sometimes truth arrives quietly, and once it enters the room, it changes the temperature. I set down my glass, took a slow breath, and looked around the table, at my parents, my cousins, my sister, the people who had spent years telling me who I was, years calling me ordinary, years assuming silence meant weakness. I smiled softly. "There isn't a mistake." Charlotte's face changed, just slightly, enough. "What are you talking about?" she whispered. I folded my hands. For 5 years, I've been building something. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. I didn't tell anyone because every time I shared ideas growing up, I was told they were unrealistic. I looked down briefly, then back up. So I stopped explaining. Charlotte stared at me. My father frowned. "What exactly are you saying?" I smiled gently. "I'm saying I spent 5 years building a company focused on innovation and sustainability." I paused. "And Mr. Ellison's organization recently entered a partnership agreement with us." The room froze. My mother blinked. Charlotte blinked. Mr. Ellison blinked. Then realization slowly crossed his face. No, I nodded once. Yes. Like the silence felt endless. Not angry, not explosive, just still. Charlotte looked at me as though she were seeing me for the first time, because sometimes people only notice your voice after they've spent years ignoring it. My father laughed nervously. Alyssa, enough joking. I'm not joking. I opened my phone and slid it across the table. Articles, announcements, press releases, my company's newest partnership launch, my photo, my name, years of work quietly standing where nobody expected it. Charlotte stared at the screen, then at me, then back again. I didn't know. Her voice sounded small, and suddenly something unexpected happened. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired, because I realized something. I had spent so many years wanting them to finally see me, wanting validation, wanting proof that I mattered. But somewhere along the way, while building my dreams in silence, I had stopped needing permission. My mother spoke first. Alyssa, why didn't you tell us? I looked at her for a moment, then smiled sadly. I tried. Silence. I tried years ago. I looked around the room. But eventually, I learned something. Everyone waited. You don't have to announce your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. No one spoke. Not my father, not Charlotte, nobody. Because sometimes the truth doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it simply sits down beside you and waits. Later that night, dinner ended quietly. People drifted into different rooms. The laughter was gone, not replaced with anger, with reflection. Charlotte found me standing near the window watching snow fall outside. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then quietly she asked, "Were you really hurt all those years?" I looked out at the lights outside, the houses, the snowfall, the peaceful silence. Then I answered honestly, "Yes." Her eyes filled. "I'm sorry." And for once, there wasn't performance behind it. No audience, no spotlight, just honesty. Christmas morning felt different. Sunlight slipped through the windows. Everything felt softer somehow. I sat alone with coffee in my hands and thought about the little girl I used to be, the one desperate for approval, the one who believed love had to be earned, the one sitting quietly at dinner tables hoping someone would notice her. I wished I could tell her something. I wished I could whisper, "Keep going. One day you'll stop chasing seats at tables that never made room for you. One day you'll build your own." Because success wasn't the company. It wasn't the headlines. It wasn't proving people wrong. Success was waking up and realizing I no longer needed anyone else's permission to believe I mattered. Outside, snow continued falling. Soft, steady, quiet. Just like growth. And for the first time in years, Christmas finally felt like home.